So first you're going to come over to back office um, under transactions, and we're going to come to create transaction. Some scenarios in which you will do this is one, to get representation for a buyer, or to get a listing agreement for a seller. So first off, we're going to start with type. What type of sale is this? 90% of the time, it's going to probably be traditional sale, unless it's a lease, land, commercial sale, or lease, commercial sale, short sale, and so on. So in this scenario, we're going to do a traditional sale. Opportunity is, when we come to status, opportunity is somebody you are trying to get representation with. That goes for the buyer or the seller, is somebody that you have not signed anything with and you are just trying to get documents signed. Active is that person, whether it be a buyer or a seller, is somebody who you have now received signed representation with. And then pending is once you go into a pending status on a property or under contract. So for this scenario, we're going to start off as an opportunity. And who are we representing? You're either representing the seller or the buyer or both. In this scenario, we're going to start with the buyer. You can see that once I select buyer, the transaction name is going to turn red. That is because as of right now, you do not have an address associated for this buyer. So if their name is Clark Wycliffe, then I can name the file Clark Wycliffe. And they will be stored in your back office as that under their transaction name until you get an address when you go under contract. If it is a seller, it will make you put in the address since you will know the address that it's associated with. But for this scenario, we're going to stick with our buyer. The more you fill out in this section, the more it will fill out your forms for you. So we are going to start with the buyer agreement date. We're going to have it start today, December 2nd. And I want this to be a 6-month agreement. So I'm going to go from December as month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and have my agreement in May 1st. If you had selected seller, you would do the listing date and listing expiration. The more you fill out here, the more we can give you stats later on under additional fields on whether or not where you got your lead from and the property type. You can fill these out later after you go under contract. You can also select on whether or not you used a lockbox and what type of lockbox or sign on this property, so you can track where all your lockbox and signs are. You can also list the lender down here. This is important just to see where you've been sending business to. If you ever curious what lender you're doing a lot of business with, to try to build on that relationship. But after you fill out anything that's in red, you can hit next. And now wants to know your commission. It is very important to know that we only care about the commission in which the brokerage receives, not the other side. So if I'm a Remax Frontier and I'm working the buying side, I'm going to put 3%. Even if you don't know the percentage yet, it's okay. You can edit this later. So once I put 3% under the buying side, I'm then going to make that 3% of the gross. Whatever box you fill out, this top box needs to be the sum of. So if you do 3 and 3, this needs to be 6. Or a 0 and 3, then that needs to be 3. Again, you can always leave whatever side you're not representing as 0. Once you've put how much commission you're going to receive, you need to tell the system who you are. So under add agent, you're going to hit add agent and add yourself. Now, a lot of people will see this 100% pop up. That does not mean that you're getting 100% of the commission. What it means is of the 3%, your split is going to be calculated off 100% of that. A scenario where that would be different is if I was going to give Brandon a referral fee. I could hit add agent, type in Brandon, and let's say I was going to give him 30%, and I was going to take 70. So 70, 30 equals 100% of the 3. You don't have to do this though if you don't want to. We can add in who the referral goes to for you later, but we want to make sure you at least add your own percentage. And then hit next. Now, this is where you can add your contact. I'm going to have the buyer. Buyer is going to be Clark Whitcliffe. And the agent is going to be Brandon Rigenall. Also, guys, the more you add here, the more it will make future transactions easier because it will save people's information for you. Now, it is going to ask us for a checklist. There are multiple checklists to pick from, as you can see, but it's going to pre-select buyer's representation because you should be getting a buyer representation agreement before you do anything else when working with a buyer. But if there is a scenario in which you need a different checklist, you can also add that checklist here. But the system should automatically give you the correct checklist based off the information you provided. Once in here, this is just a summary sheet. It's telling us what the sales volume is, who the contacts in the file are, any comments. By the way, you can type a comment and do the @ sign and put me or Brandon, and it will ask us questions inside the system, or Lauren. Under here, we have any documents, unsorted documents, which there are none at this time, offers, users and contacts, finance, which is your commission, shared, which is who you're sharing the file with, and activity. This activity log will show you everything that's gone on inside of your file and when other people like myself, Brennan, or Lauren have access to the file. But for this scenario, we're going to come into our checklist, residential buyer representation. When you see this date out to the side above all these tasks, December 9th, it is because based off of a representation agreement starting on the 2nd, you have till the 9th to turn those documents into the brokerage per the company policy. All these are split out files or paperwork that you need. However, at the very bottom where there is no due date is a document package that contains all of these forms. All you have to do is hit use forms. You can also tell the difference because out to the side there's an upload and a use forms. If there's an upload, that's just where you store the form. It is not where you write up the form. It's just where you upload it once it's been signed. But for now, we're going to come down to buyer representation document package and click on that. When you click on any of these and they highlight, we have already typed notes for you in here as well. Over here, Right underneath Use Forms, you can see where we've typed in step-by-step instructions on how to use the documents. Once I select this representation package, I'm then going to select Use Forms. All the forms that were above this package are now shown here. If there are additional forms needed, you can select Add More Forms and pull from the Company Library, the Property Management Library, or the Texas Realtors Library. You can also use the search bar and type in the form you need. However, all the Texas Realtor forms and TREC forms are already broken into folders for you. This one is buyer and tenant representation agreements, and it has all those agreements below. Commercial contracts, commercial leases, and so on. Once you found all the forms you need, you hit select at the bottom. It then comes back to this page. In this scenario, I'm going to use the buyer rep short form. So I do not need the long form, which is above. Or you can choose the long form if you'd like. But whichever one you decide you want to use, just X off the one that you're not going to use. Let's say I accidentally X'd off the short form on accident and I need to go grab it. Again, you can come down to More Forms, Texas Realtors, Buyer and Tenant Representation Agreements, and find the form you need. After you've selected the forms you need, we're then going to hit Next. When it brings you to signers and other parties, select the people you expect to sign the package and other parties to populate their contact information into the agreement for you. So even if they're not going to sign this package, like broker Brandon or supervisor Clark, by selecting them under here, it has now auto put our information into the IIDS and your representation agreement for you. So you do not have to type them in. If you do not have someone like buyer two, you can select here and type in their information. If you need to change someone's information, you can select their name where it's blue and edit their contact information. You may also edit what type of contact they are and who can see their contact information. Once you've selected everybody here, you then hit Next. Because you provided the system with Brandon's information and my information as parties on the fields, it has pre-filled out everything for us or for you. I selected the wrong me, so I'm going to come back here and select the right me. Once you're here, this is where you can make edits to a contract or representation agreement or any documents. If you click once, it is just to move the box around. If you click twice, that is when you can type. Let's say in this example, I accidentally click a box and delete it. It is okay. You can come up to this top bar and hit text. I have now turned on the text and can drop the box wherever I want. So I'm going to put my mouse where I would like the box and click the mouse once. You may also shrink the box or expand it by just hovering over and selecting and moving it. Once you have dropped the box where you want, just go back up to the text box and turn it off. The text box does not turn off once you drop the box. You must select it to turn it off. If not, you will drop boxes everywhere. So make sure you turn them off after you put them where you want them. Other tools you have on this top bar are money, where you can type in a dollar amount, strike, where you can strike something from the form, a checkbox that you can either fill now or select the drop down and have your buyer check it for you, signature, where you can have different people's signature dropped, initials, and date and time. But going back to our text box, I have now set the box back where I need it, and I'm going to double click and add in the name that I deleted. After that, I'm going to scroll down to make sure that all my documents are correct and have boxes dropped in the correct place. If you don't understand the colors of who is assigned what, you can always click it and it will tell you this is buyer one, this is buyer two, and this is buyer agent. Once I go through and make sure I have all the correct forms filled out correctly, oh, under disclosure of relationship, we must fill this out because we do work with vendors. So you put that the broker or sales agents do receive compensation from the following providers. Please, it is recommended to add 3. In this scenario, I'm going to add 2. And then who we pay is admin with those funds. After we check to make sure everything is filled out correctly on all the other forms, we'll come to the representation agreement. In your representation agreement, the more information for your client, the better. So we have client Clark and McKinsey, their address, their phone number, and email. We have the broker as Remax Frontier, our address, the agent's phone number or the broker's phone number, and the agent's email address. So when filling this out, we want to put in our terms. So our term is going to begin on the 2nd and end May 1. And you might be asking yourself, when do I need or don't need buyer representation to show property? I understand that there will be different opinions and difference in what Trek says, but as the broker and in the broker company handbook, you must always have buyer representation to show any property, no matter its type, unless it is a Remax Frontier listing. But at any other time, as the brokers, we require that you have the representation agreement. Once we select our terms, we will come down to brokers compensation. Sorry, thought I scrolled too fast. We'll put what percentage you're going to receive on a purchase and what percentage you're going to receive if it's a lease. So for this scenario, I did 3% of the sales price and 50% of 1 month's rent if I end up helping them find something to rent. I want to have a protection period of at least 90 days. The section on where the money is payable, typically you want the money payable in the county in which you're conducting business or the county in which the broker is located. However, I will tell you that all that section is for is what county are we going to court in if there is a discrepancy, is the biggest thing there. And here I am going to select intermediary status. I always try to get intermediary selected, but if for whatever reason your client is not okay with intermediary, then you may select option B. Continuing on, we will grab any other forms that are associated with this package. And select that you are signing on behalf of the broker. And that's it. Once we finish completing the package, we have two options. One, we can save and close, or two, we can send for e-sign. For this scenario, I'm going to hit send for e-sign. Now, once this pulls up, I can take out certain parties if I don't want them to sign by hitting the X. Or let's say I have somebody I want to sign first, like broker Brandon. I can select assign signing order and move him up, or I can make him last. If you do not assign a signing order, it is going to send it to all three of them at the same time. But if you assign a signing order, it's going to send it to Clark. And once he signs, it will go to Mackenzie. And what she signs, it will go to Brandon. There's no right or wrong here. It's just preference. Just a extra heads up on something you could do to make this even better if you have a TC is you can add CC recipients and grab your TC in there too, so they'll get the package as well. As you can see, this is what your email is gonna look like that your client's gonna receive. If you do not like how this is, you can add more. Or if it's something you're gonna do constantly on when you send out a package, you can create a template and type in what you'd like it, your name, the subject, and the body in which you'd like the template to look. But I always say less is more, and so I'm going to use what the system uses. Now, once I've sent it for e-sign, it's going to also save the document. And you'll know that it's been sent out for e-sign because there's an orange little leaf signature thing sitting here. Once everybody signs, this will turn blue. But until everybody signs, it will stay orange. Now, let's say I got somebody's email wrong. I can come into my transaction, come under my checklist, go to my buyer's representation document package. And once I click on that, you'll see right under here where it says e-signature. If you click this arrow, it will drop down and have everybody. And I can come in here and hit these three dots and either resend the package to that specific person or change their email. If I made a mistake on the paperwork and need to redo it, I can hit restart e-sign. And it will say, you're about to restart your e-sign process. All the pending signatures requested will be canceled, and hit continue. So it's now going to pull all those emails back. It's not going to send it to all of them. It will start you on step 2. That is very important, and you'll know by looking in the bottom left corner. If it's because I forgot to add a form, I can just hit back and go add whatever form I need. But if it's just because I need to make an edit or add somebody, I can add them here, or I can go to next and go make my edit inside of the paperwork. In this case, I'm going to say I made a error and that I want this to end on the 30th of April. And now I'm going to send it. Also, if you don't want to send for e-sign, you can download or print for clients that may want to sign in person. If you do hit save and close, instead of hitting send for e-sign, that's okay. It's going to save. And now you'll see that the signature leaf is gone. And so now that I've come back to it later after I saved it and I need to send it out for e-sign, all you have to do is again click on the task, hit edit e-sign, and it's going to start you off on step 2 of 3. Hit next. I don't need to make any edits because I already did. I'm going to hit the down arrow and hit send for e-sign. And now there's my orange signature block, and I know that it's been sent. Also, again, if you're always curious if the system sent it or not and you're not sure, you can again click the e-signature or come over to activity and you can see all the events where the signatures were requested or the cancellation was made. And that is how you start a transaction in back office. Once you come back into back office, if you're looking for that transaction, you can also hit transactions, type in the file name or address, and there I am, and I'm back in it. You're always going to start on the summary page. What you want to do is go to the checklist and you'll be able to see everything. And that's how you start a file in back office. Our next video will be how to split and merge, and then how to change a file to pending. Hope this video helps and look forward to doing some more in the future.